Yeah, so I just got my tax return yesterday. First time filing with my wife. We just received $2,342. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I plan to use my tax return. But I want to first open up the conversation to some of the stuff that I'm noticing within the cultures, stuff that I'm seeing going across the United States when it comes to tax return, just to give a little bit of insight into some of my thoughts on it, um, and to talk about how I'm planning to move a little bit differently. So, a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing going on, and it's real lighthearted and it's all jokes. Um, is how a lot of people are planning to use their tax return when it comes to spending, and a lot of the spending that people are looking to do is, going out to eat at fancy dinners. You're seeing jokes about, people aren't going to talk about receiving their tax return, but they're going to be signs. I mean, those memes are comedy. It's funny. But when you really look below the surface and you understand kind of the implications behind the jokes, I'm in the camp that all jokes have a little bit of truth in it. And the truth that I'm seeing within the jokes and is very reflective of stuff that we just know as common knowledge across the United States is most people are cash strapped. Most people don't have money in their bank account. They don't have an emergency fund. They're swarmed with consumer debt. They're feeling behind when it comes to investments. And so culturally, you see these jokes and everything going on around people being dependent upon their tax return, right? Like receiving your own money back from the government, from the IRS during tax season is a lot of people's breakthrough. And for me, it's a little bit disheartening because um, it really highlights the struggles that everyday people are facing. Now, don't know everybody's like financial kind of position. Some people, their financial situation is self-inflicted. For other people, they might have fell through life hardships. Other people, they might not be educated when it just comes to like handling their finances. But the reality is the reality. A lot of people, again, don't have an emergency fund. A lot of people are struggling financially. They're swarmed with consumer debt. Um, Housing costs, living costs are, at all-time highs, and people are just struggling. So for me, it's kind of disappointing that, people are making jokes around how they want to use their tax return irresponsibly, but in reality, they should be using it in a very like wise way. Now, for me, how I'm planning on using my tax return is $342 is going towards my student loan debt. In my previous videos that I made, I've talked a little bit about kind of my strategy for this year. I plan to continue to max out retirement accounts, max out different investment accounts this year. I'm also very focused on paying off my student loan debt, right? I got a little bit over $6,000 in student loan debt. So I'm taking $342 and I'm placing it towards my student loan debt to kind of help accelerate that process, and make extra like payments this month, right? So that I can help chip away at that. What I plan to do with the other $2,000 is put it in a high yield savings account with my wife, right? So I'm kind of more in, getting some more stability, building up cash reserves, making sure I'm on the defensive while continuing to, be on the offensive through investing. But I want to make sure I have some extra cash. So I think it'd be wise to take $2,000, put it in a high yield savings account. You never know what tomorrow brings. With the uncertainty that's going on within the economy, it's possible that I can get laid off tomorrow. It's possible my wife can get laid off tomorrow. It's possible that just something, unforeseen happens. And we just want to make sure we have a little bit of extra cash on hand. And my encouragement, if you're watching this video, is this is your sign that you might need to be a little bit wise when it comes to how you handle your tax return, right? Like we see the jokes around how people are using it irresponsibly, and it's all fun and games, and it's fun, funny stuff to laugh at. But in reality, for most people that are watching this video, for most people that are American, like you're probably going to be needing to use, your tax return wisely to set yourself up for a better financial future, right? For some people, that might mean paying off a little bit of debt. For some people, it might mean investing. For other people, it might be doing similar to what I'm doing and putting it in a savings account. But I think people should move really smart with how they choose to spend their tax return, because I think right now, given the state that most people are in, we can't afford to be, just spending cash irresponsibly. Now, I think what's important to kind of like note, and something that I'm like really paying attention to, and I think makes it a little bit difficult during this time, is most companies right now are going to be running promotions. Most companies, restaurants, different retail businesses, e-commerce businesses, everybody's fighting for your money. Everybody wants you to spend your tax return with them. I just got an email from my old tattoo parlor that was emailing customers pretty much stating, in marketing, like, hey, this tax return season, come spend your tax return with us. You deserve that tattoo you've always wanted. And it's not a knock on them, right? Like, you can market how you want to market. It's your business. And the people that elect to do that, it's their choice to spend their money that way. But that's kind of disappointing, right? Like, for some people that, like, hey, like, you're not in a good financial situation, but you're gonna take your hard earned money, the money that you lent out to the IRS that they're refunding back to you. You're struggling financially, and you're gonna go YOLO it on a tattoo, right? You're gonna go do something in the moment, that might not be the most financially responsible. And I thought that, that email that I received was pretty crazy to kind of, like, see. But I know that there's probably going to be one or two, customers that, decide to go opt in to getting a tattoo versus taking their money and doing something financially responsible with it. Now, this video is not to say that you have to go out and, not take any of the money to enjoy, on yourself, right? Maybe you carve out a small percentage to put away, just to kind of like treat yourself. But for most people, like, a good majority of the funds that you get for your tax return should be used to, better your financial situation, however that might look. Now, there might be a small few of people that, you don't really have any debt obligations, right? You're caught up when it comes to, like, your investments. You got a good amount of money, like, in your savings account. You might be the small few that you can just benefit from getting this cash back and just going and, spending it however you want. But for most people, for the data that's coming in across the United States, most people should not be using their tax return irresponsibly. But you need to understand that a lot of businesses right now are going to be marketing. A lot of businesses and companies are going to be trying to get profits right now, all the way up until April 15th, on tax day, because they know a lot of people, um, are getting their tax return. A lot of people are getting cash, and a lot of people are looking to spend because they've been cash strapped throughout this whole past year. Um, so yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I do plan to make a future video, just around kind of like tax returns, because I've learned some information, that's kind of, you know causing me to pause and move differently and understand kind of what tax returns, are, what are the implications of that, what are the cons of it. And as I continue to learn a little bit more about, being more financially responsible and continuing to self-educate and kind of like learn, I want to share some of those insights with you. But again, if you're watching this video, this is your sign to use your tax return financially, like, wise and financially smart. Please don't go out and just spend it on stupid stuff, especially if you're not in a good financial position, right? This is an opportunity maybe to just reset, recalibrate, re-get your finances kind of in order. A little bit of extra cash on hand can be helpful. And for a lot of people, you probably need an emergency fund. Or for a lot of people, you probably need to tackle some of that high interest credit, like credit card debt, some high interest kind of like debt. Or for other people, you might want to put some money, in those kind of retirement accounts or investment accounts with your tax return. So again, I'm getting $2,342. I plan to put $2,000 in a high yield savings account. The extra $342 is going down to knock down my student loans because I'm trying to get them things paid off, and I'm going to use my tax return financially wise, this season. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to continue to drop daily financial videos, just documenting and sharing kind of my experience on how I'm planning to use my finances, lessons that I've learned, sharing insights to how me and my family are using. And I'm trying to build a community of financially just disciplined people that are all moving on this journey together. Okay. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Take care.